Today, I'm joined by the president of the Memorabilia Network, Harlan Werner, who has been overseeing the auction of the ball from the final out of the 2024 World Series. Harlan, can you talk to me about what the process has been like working with Will Smith and his Catching Hope Foundation, and also Walker Buehler's Family Foundation to give fans a chance to buy this historic baseball?
Thank you so much for having me, first of all. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to talk about the ball, talk about the Dodgers, talk about what we're trying to do. So essentially, my company, the Memorabilia Network, we're locally based in Los Angeles. I'm born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. And when the conversation came up about the ball possibly being sold, when I was brought into the conversation, I said, I, more than anyone, should be the person to sell this ball. And that being that I'm an LA guy. I have three friends that lost their homes in the fires, two in Altadena and one in the Palisades. As somebody that's had a relationship with the Dodgers for decades, having worked with numerous ball players, management, I felt that I could respectfully honor the wishes of everybody and hopefully sell this ball for a great deal of money and help the city heal.
Yeah, and Harlem, this specific baseball, it means a lot to a lot of people. I mean, just the significance of winning the World Series, the story that came with it, everything the team had to overcome, and of course, everything that the city dealt with in the following months. What was the process like for the Memorabilia Network to first get the opportunity to be the company and the platform to help auction this off?
At the end of December, early January, probably end of December, I was contacted to see what I thought the ball was worth, what my interest was, and again, the sensitivity of the situation, because the ball, typically this stuff doesn't come up for sale, or if it does, it's sold through Major League Baseball or it's kept by the organization. And so because of my relationship with the organization, with Major League Baseball, and knowing some of Will's people, they thought that maybe I would be best suited to help market the ball and maybe not use it so much to promote the business, but more so promote the cause and promote the charity, which really the lead charity being Will and Kara's Catching Hope. And what they're trying to do with helping children. In this case, the ball, with Walker's family and Will's family coming together and trying to help people in need in Southern California for fire relief. And my company, the Memorabilia Network, I am donating, with the exception of minimal costs, I'm donating all of the buyer's premium to the Dodger Foundation, which does great work and is also helping the community of fire relief, amongst all the other things that the great foundation does. So essentially, all of the money is going to charity on all levels, and as it should.
Of course, Harlem, we saw the Dodgers do a similar thing with their I Love LA community tour this past offseason. I want to say majority of the roster was at events through an entire week, just giving back to the city as they were healing and they were recovering after the fires. And Harlem, the amount that this baseball sells for, which is currently sitting at $200,000, like you said, will be donated to help those who were impacted by the Los Angeles fires. Can you tell me what those conversations were initially like with your team when you guys were first deciding that was going to be the case?
My company was chosen to sell the ball and to work with all the people involved. The decision as to where the money's being donated and the conversations to which charities within which organizations that the Catching Hope will be donating to, I'm not privy to those conversations. That's more of the foundation. And as far as the money, from our side that we give to the Dodgers, that will go to, the Dodgers Foundation will distribute that how they do that. But I was very honored to be the one to offer this and to be able to talk about it. And again, as somebody that has three friends that lost their homes, it's very personal for me. And the other thing is, the ball is quite significant. As you talked about, it represents not only the adversity that the team had to go through with the tremendous amount of injuries, and then ultimately coming into the end of the season with bullpen games and playoff games, which is unheard of, and coming through and winning and beating the Yankees, which was historic. It took a team. It took the entire team. Everybody came together. Everyone, the medical staff, the coaching staff, the players, and now with this ball, the city has a chance with the sale of this ball to benefit those that are in desperate need right now, and whether it be schools, people lost their homes, businesses, people lost their lives and families, pets. So it's a great honor. It's a heavy commitment for me, but I believe that it's a special item for so many reasons, and the generosity of all the people involved is tremendous, and the city coming together. And I don't think in my lifetime there will ever be another opportunity where the ball from the last out from the World Series will ever be sold. It usually remains either in the Hall of Fame, or it remains within the team ownership, or the player. But in this case, it's been donated, and I'm very proud to be part of it. The ball has tremendous provenance. I mean, naturally, we all saw Will take the ball out of his pocket, and the authenticator, put the hologram on it, and Will holding it up. Certificate from Major League Baseball with the hologram basically outlines the pitches, with the speed of the pitches. It outlines everything, the out prior to, and then the strikeout of Verdugo. So it's quite, the provenance is there. And somebody asked me a question the other day, which was, well, what if the Dodgers win consecutive World Series or more World Series? Does that devalue the ball? And my response was that, well, I would love to have a 27 Yankee ball. I'm not, if the Dodgers win 5 straight, then this was the first of the 5. This was Ohtani's first year. There's a lot of firsts. The ball, that's it. And currently it's on display at Art of the Game on the field level at Dodger Stadium. So fans can see it, take pictures there. Yeah, I mean, we're counting on the community to come together, and it really is an incredible ball. It really is. And I don't think, as I said, I don't think in my lifetime there will be another last out ball that will come up for sale. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I think you said it best, and big thank you for showing us the ball too. It's be amazing to see. But the Dodgers could win 10 straight World Series, and that ball is still going to hold the value it is, because like you said, it's the first. It represents the team getting over the hump, getting over everybody calling them a regular season team, getting over just many years of dealing with so many different obstacles, and even past offseason, losing a bunch of starting pitching, losing a number of relievers, but ultimately everybody coming together just the way the city of Los Angeles always does. I've always viewed baseball as kind of like a way for everybody to get out of their normal lives and just come together as a community. You could be going through stuff at work, in your personal life, family, but you just go to a Dodger game and it feels like everything is better. And it feels like that team more than ever knows that. They're traveling to Tokyo for a historic series. They're coming in and starting off their 2025 season 5-0, when, quite frankly, if they wanted to, they could be taking their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. So I think it's amazing. They recognize all that the city does for them, showing up for them every game, leading the league in attendance, making sure that they're buying all their merchandise, supporting them through thick and thin. And Harlan, yourself, you know that better than anybody, because you've worked with a number of Dodgers legends, ranging from Sandy Koufax, Clayton Kershaw, the late great Fernando Valenzuela, who we just unfortunately lost this past year, but his legacy lives on forever. What has stuck out to you the most from working with such prominent figures in the community?
Well, it's a great question, and it goes back to I worked for Muhammad Ali for almost 20 years, from 1987 to 2006, and remained friends with him until he passed. And when I went to work for him and ultimately represented him, he said, if you're going to work for me, you have to understand about giving back. You have to understand that I became famous. I used the platform of boxing to become famous to be able to give back to people in need and to be able to help. And if you're going to work for me, you have to be somebody that is willing to give back. And so I started working for Muhammad basically when I was 18 years old, and so that was instilled in me from the beginning. And then working with Sandy Koufax, who is just the utmost kindest, sweet person, always just a quality person on every level. And then Clayton Kershaw, who I've been honored to work with in marketing. I've been honored to work with his family, with his foundation, for him and his wife to have raised and given away, almost $15 million. I mean, they're relatively young. He's been doing this. They're in their 30s. He's been doing this since he's been in his 20s, giving back and giving back big to family. And Fernando, very privately, always giving back and wanting to help here and in Mexico. And Fernando, for me, I would have breakfast with Fernando at least once a month, and it's very fresh. I mean, I loved him very dearly, and he would have been really proud to see the team win in the way they did, and also the basics. They played long ball, but they played small ball, and he was always about fundamentals. And he would always tell me, if you don't play defense, if you don't run it out, if you don't bunt, you're not going to win. So he would have been very proud, and I know he's proud of the team and of the city. But I worked for Roy Campanella. I had the honor of working with Don Drysdale, and the thing is that people talk about the Dodger way. Dodger way is class. The Dodgers are class, and we've had a few hiccups along the way. But the ownership group now, who I've had the honor of working with and knowing, they're all good people, and they care about the players, they care about their employees, they care about the fan base, they care about their brand. I had the honor of going to Japan. I saw what that was about. It was mind-boggling, and I went to China with Muhammad Ali in 1993, and there were 200,000 people at the airport to greet him. I've seen stuff on very grandiose levels, and what Major League Baseball and the Dodgers were able to pull off was mind-boggling. It really was, and very special, and it was fun to be there, and I got to wear a helmet and wear a glove, and I was a little bit away from Rodney Pete, but it wasn't I was at the first game. But balls were flying all over the place, so he made a great catch there.
No, that's beautiful. I think pretty much what you're saying just captures that these bigger than life players, as amazing as we see them when they're in a big crowd, when they're walking through the stadium surrounded by hundreds of thousands of cameras, they're the same people behind closed doors when you're working with them. When you're working with them to bring everything back to the community. I mean, working with Muhammad Ali at just 18 years old, he very easily could have showed a different side of himself, but he told you that he wants to give back and he wants you to help him do that. And that's continued with your monthly breakfast that you would have with Fernando, with working with Clayton Kershaw and Kershaw's Challenge. And just, these athletes, these Dodgers players specifically, they've made enough money to where they could just live a comfortable life when they're not playing, when they're not at Dodger Stadium. They could just go about their normal life, but they choose to give back. And I mean, a big part of it is because of places like the Memorabilia Network, Harlan. So we at Dodgers Nation, we really, really thank you for all the work you've done, all the work you continue to do. And guys, as of this recording, the auction, the bidding. You guys can still go in there. You guys still put in your bid for the Dodgers World Series 2024 Last Out Ball. It ends on April 5th at around 6 p.m. Pacific time, I believe. Is that correct, Harlan? 6 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
So, guys, you guys still have time. Harlan, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate all the work that you and the Memorabilia Network do. And we're looking forward to many, many more years of this success and many more years of you guys allowing the fan base to be able to be a part of this and bring in some memorabilia into their home and help the community in the process.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.